We need to work on. Let's bubble it up, get it done. Move on. All right, take a comfortable seat. I'm gonna turn down music just a little bit more. Oh, that's off. No. There we go. All right, in a comfortable seat, you may want to take your inner thighs and roll them out. I like to place one shin in front of the other and just broadening my foundation. And then think of how to build up from the earth up to the ether. So, are you taking a good seat? Are your shoulders stacked above your hips? Is your head balanced upon your shoulders? Are your elbows below your shoulders? Palms up or down, it's up to you. It depends on how much energy you are requiring this morning. Just assess it, breathe into it. Take notice of where you are right now. Begin with your breath. Inhaling and exhaling to even and equal degrees. So as you inhale, filling up your inside of your body, exhale to the same length, the same duration, the same velocity. Even and equal breath. Inhaling, exhaling. Pay attention to your breath. And let's just set aside our to-do list. That to-do list will get done. But let's not think about it right now, because now is what's important, and it's the only thing that is present. All right. Gently open your eyes or take a soft gaze. It's up to you. You could do the whole practice with your eyes closed if you'd like. I'd like you to just take your right hand out to the side and inhale up with your left. And as you do this, I want you to push down into the earth. When you do that, it kind of creates this loop right here that extends all the way up to your left hand. And then bring the eye of the elbow towards your ear. Maybe walk your hands out a little bit. Breathing into the side body. Putting space in between those ribs. Breathing into the side body. Active fingers reaching. I don't know about you, but my body definitely is awakening. So it creaks and moans. Let's go to the other side. It definitely is, it's like taut at first, where it's slowly opening. It just needs a little bit more encouragement in the morning. We are still coming out of that fetal position. At night, we contract. And in the day, we spend sometimes all day expanding and extending. And then switch over to the other side again. So the morning is when we are opening up from that original contraction. And it may be a little bit tighter. So this time I encourage you to face forward and bend and reach and get that back. And then open your heart up to the sky and get the front. So you should feel like the extension from this side hip all the way out through your fingers. Ah, good. Switch to the other side. Facing forward, facing up, feeling from the hip to the fingers, and then coming up to center line. That was good. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart space. And just setting your intention. As we sit here tall, sometimes I don't even know what my intention is until I come to the mat. I often say to my family, I bring my problems to the mat, or my struggles, or my, simply something that I'm dwelling upon or mulling over in my mind. What is it that I want? What is it that I'm seeking? And then I practice with it on the mat, and it tends to open up or resolve itself, or at least creak open the door. Just a little bit of light, and it allows me, oh, okay, that's the direction I need to go in. So setting your intention, what is it that you are here for? Taking your hands and slowly walking them forward. If you're able, if you're not, just continue to take a comfortable seat and just lowering your body, but opening up your lower back. And you may want to take your hands to one side and then walking them over to the other side. And then back to center. And then we're going to meet in hands and knees. And we'll do our cat-cow. Make sure you have water near you if you have water. In case you need it. All right, planting the hands below your shoulders and then knees below your hips. All 10 pads of the fingers pressing down. And go ahead and round your back, exhaling, squeezing out the breath. And then inhaling, coming into cow pose. But instead of dumping into your belly or into your center line, I want you to extend through the forehead and the tailbone. So they reach to the opposite sides of the room. Shoulders on your back. Inhale. Exhale, contract, round your back, squeezing it out. Inhaling. Elongating. Exhaling. Contract. One last inhalation in this pose. And then we're going to roll over into our downward facing dog. And then just kind of cycle out or walk the dog one heel down at a time. Get rid of any creatures crawling on your yoga mat. I don't know where they came from. All right, one at a time. And then go ahead and narrow that dog. So you walk your feet in just a smidge, maybe widen your feet to mat width distance. I'd like you to take your left hand to either your right quad, your right shin, or your right outside foot, and look under your armpit and take that twist. And really feel the twist pulling in. Great. Feeling this pose on your back. Ah, great. And then switching sides. Outside of the left quad, left shin, outside of the left foot. Looking under the left armpit. Wonderful. And then taking your regular stance for downward facing dog. Again, cycling out, pushing away with your hands. And just assessing again, as we begin our poses with foundation, we want to make sure that we're practicing well. So are we pressing down with the index finger and the thumb? Are we broadening the foundation of our hand by spreading our fingers? Are we pushing away with our hands? Taking a gentle forward fold, bringing our feet towards our hands, and go ahead and take your feet at hip bone distance, shaking your head yes and no, ragdoll, grabbing opposite elbows. At any time, bend your knees. Whenever you feel like my hamstrings need a little bit of a break, then bend your knees. Rest your chest on your quads. Do not strain for the sole purpose of straining. Be in a good pose. Plant your hands. Inhale, elongate your spine, monkey pose. Inhale, and then once again, let's take a forward bend. Forward bend, hips up, excuse me, hips up towards the sky, drawing in with the belly, forward bend. You could drop your hands all together. You could grab opposite elbows. I feel for myself that if I gently sway back and forth, it kind of eases my depth. It eases me into my depth of the pose. Inhale, elongate your spine, monkey pose once again. This time, plant your hands, jump or step back into plank pose. Hold plank pose for a moment. In plank pose, we need to just remind ourselves what is a good plank pose. What is something that feels strong? So taking your shoulders, roll them on your back. Tucking your tailbone ever so slightly, planting your hands, being strong. I'd like you to slowly rock back and forth like a seesaw or just going back and forth, and then slowly coming down. Inhale, this first inhalation or up dog or Sphinx pose, let's take it easy. So I'm going to take Sphinx. Putting my elbows underneath my shoulders, drawing my chest in and up through my biceps. So I'm going to draw it forward, my heart space, and energetically I am reaching back with my forearms, allowing my heart to come forward, back with my forearms, forward with my heart. Great. Taking my hands, place them where my elbows were. If you can, push up to that push-up pose, and then back into downward facing dog. Cycle out the heels once again. Before we begin our sun salutations, let's step forward. I'd like you to do this pose where you bend your left knee, plant your left hand in between your hands, and with your right hand, you can take it to your hip or reach your right hand all the way up. So you have your left knee bent, right leg straight, right. There you go. Good. I know. It's a brain exercise, really. Good. And then switching sides. So I'll turn around. So you bend your right knee, left leg straight, right hand planted, reaching up. Maybe your left hand is just to your hip. Maybe it's reaching all the way up. Relaxing your head. Taking your hands, walking them forward, once again into that plank. Seesaw back and forth. Feeling strong, tucking that tailbone just ever so slightly. Exhale, come all the way down. Inhale, up dog, cobra, Sphinx. Roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale, goodness, my throat. Inhale that right leg back. Have those toes pointed down as if you're pointing with your heel, putting a footprint on the wall behind you. Exhale, let's draw that right knee in and up towards our chest, and then plant it in between our hands. Finding the stability of this pose, I like to put my feet at railroad tracks, push down with my feet, inhaling up to Crescent Lunge. In Crescent Lunge, we reach up with our fingertips, kind of bounce, kind of feel the sturdiness of this pose. Good. Exhale, come forward, framing that front foot. Let's bring that foot all the way back again. Or you can come into a three-legged plank and then come down. Inhaling up. Downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg back. Once again, squaring off the hips, pressing back with that foot. Exhaling, let's bring that left knee in and up towards our chest, and then planting it in between our hands. At any time, that foot cannot come in between your hands. You can bring that foot wherever it goes, and then walk your hands back so your hands can frame your foot. Inhale all the way up, crescent. So in Crescent Lunge, so when you are reaching up with your hands, really find where your hands and arms are in space. Proprioceptive awareness. Bringing your active fingers, you can bend that back knee. Breathing. Exhale, framing the foot. Come back to a three-legged dog or a three-legged plank. Exhale all the way down. Inhale up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's do this pose again, maybe build upon it. So reaching back with that right leg, and go ahead and stack the right hip over the left, bending the knee. And then squaring off the hips again. And then planting that foot in between, inhaling up. Exhale, bringing it forward. Three-legged downward facing dog or plank. Inhaling up. Exhale, roll over the toes. Inhale, left leg. Stacking. Left hip over right. Squaring. Bringing that left foot in between the hands. Inhaling up. Crescent lunge. As your body begins to heat up, acknowledge it. Use your breath to cool down your body. Take water whenever you need to. Exhale, come all the way down. Three-legged plank or dog. Inhale up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Once again, we're going to build. This will be our third. We're going to add upon this. Reach back with your right leg. Stack the hips. Bend that right knee. Plant that foot in between your hands. Inhale up. And we're going to take a twist. So I'm going to turn over around this way. So with your twist, couple of versions. You can plant the hand next to the foot. You can take opposite elbow, hook it, make a fist, cover it. It's an option. Or you can open up your arms wide. So find the pose that's best suited for you. So sometimes I begin this way with my hands down, and then I slowly open up. But I think my most favorite is hooking, and allow this to really get deeper into the twist. That's my personal preference. Breathing. When we wring out our body, we're kind of allowing the stress and anxiety to squeeze out. And we do this with our breath and with our body working together. Our breath is that conduit that brings the insides out, but it also allows us to really just completely surrender and release stress. Coming out of the pose, let's bring that right foot back. Dog, three-legged dog. If you want to come into the plank and come down into a chaturanga, that's perfectly fine. Now's the opportunity. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale that left leg back, reaching back, squaring off the hips, and then go ahead and stack the hips over. Good. Bending that left knee. Excellent. Opening up. There you go. And then bringing that foot in between our hands. As we set up for our twist, think about which twist works best for you. You may want to plant that right hand and open up. You may want to come into a deeper version. One thing that I didn't mention last time you can always do is you can always drop that back knee as you hook your right elbow to that left knee. So a modified version, I really want you to take the pose that works best for your body. Everybody's different. Release out of that pose. Come down. Take which version you want again, chaturanga or downward facing dog. And then let's all come into child's pose. So widen your knees, big toes together. Exhale. Sit upon those heels. Rest your belly in between your thighs. Forehead on the ground. Child's pose. Breathing into your back body, broadening those thick muscles on your back, expanding, widening. Slowly come up to all fours again. Inhale, cat-cow once again. Just kind of feeling how you have now opened up the body and you feel a little bit more lubricated or open or expanded or warm. Great. Inhale. Let's come into our downward facing dog. Reaching back with that right leg once again. Bringing it forward in between our hands. This time, I want you to take a wide stance, forward bend. So paralleling your feet along your mat. Exhale, forward bend. In our wide angle or wide stance forward bend, I definitely want you to come into variations with your hands. So I'm going to show it this way. So you can, as my mat slides away, you can bring your hands in between and through your legs. You could grab your hands to the outer edges of the ankles. You can have your hands out in front of you, finding your most comfortable stance. If you are having difficulty getting to the ground, then I would widen my legs. If you are having difficulty feeling any kind of stretch, I have some students that are very, very limber, so I ask them to come into the muscular strength instead of their flexibility. So narrow your legs and forward bend. Having your head just hover ever so slightly above the ground. Taking your right hand to your left ankle or left shin, and then open up, reach up, up, up with the right hand. Left hand. So your right hand is on your left ankle, left hand is up. Or your left hand can be on your hip. Walking over to the other side, left hand to the right ankle or right shin, right hand up towards the sky. And then coming out of the pose, reaching forward, elongating your back. Exhale once again, coming into your forward bend. Pushing down into the ground, I'd like you to take your left leg and we're going to thread it through and we're going to come into a boat pose. There we go. Trying to make that pose graceful. Okay, come into your supported boat. We're going to do a little bit of core work right now. So this is a supported boat. Activate your toes. So the key here to keeping your shins active and your toes active is that you let them do some work, share in the workload. So spreading your toes, feeling the activation. You don't want to like have your hip flexors hold up the whole lower part of your body. That's when your hip flexor gets tight and then your lower back starts talking to you. So sitting tall, you could decide if you want to elongate the legs and pressing your heels in towards each other. You could decide if you want to have unsupported, but that you're really working your core. You decide which version of this you'd like. Good. Excellent. We're going to lower. I've heard this called canoe. We're going to come into canoe. And then come up. Decide which version, activate those toes, come down, come up, and down, and up. One more time, down, and hold it for a sec, and then all the way down. Excellent. Bring your feet up towards the ceiling. If the flexibility of your hamstrings is saying, no thanks, can't do that, then just bend your knees ever so slightly, but I'd like to see if the soles of your feet can be parallel to the ceiling. So whatever version you're doing, then inhale your chest and shoulder blades off of the ground, taking your right hand and reaching up towards the outer edge of that left foot, and then reverse, left hand to right foot, and then reach again. So if you're feeling like your chin or your neck is doing all the work, then just tuck that chin in ever so slightly. If you are feeling like I am not as strong in this pose and I need some assistance, then weave your fingers and support your head. Have your head push back into your hands and reach up with your chest, having your upper abdomen muscles do the work, elbows reaching up. So find the movement that best suits your body at this particular time. And then lower your upper back, keeping your legs up. Now we are going to weave our fingers, maybe offset the weaving by one finger, the awkward way, in order just to get out of our habit. Lower one leg down, so left leg, have it hover above the ground, and then bring your left elbow up to the right knee, and then switching out. And I like to do this as if I'm moving through molasses. Slow movement, but in movement with intention, like I'm holding the pose. And it kind of makes me work a little bit harder. Again, I maintain active feet. I'm like pointing with my heels. I'm spreading my toes. I'm sweating. And then come on down your upper body down and just kind of circle with those knees. Take a counterclockwise movement with both knees and then a clockwise. Good. Massaging that lower back. It kind of also reinforces your body saying, good job. You're a strong body, strong heart, strong mind. Okay, but don't order yet. We've got a couple more core to do. Taking your hands, extend that left leg long, parallel against the floor, hovering up. Now this front right leg is bent, and I really want you to focus on keeping that lower back towards the ground. So you have to really tuck in with your belly. Good job. Bringing that left elbow to the right knee. Again, like you're moving through molasses. Good. Alternating legs. Tucking that belly in. Lowering that back. Keeping your body safe. There you go. And then relaxing all together, having your feet come mat width distance and just windshield wiper those knees. We're going to do a side strengthener of our torso in just a moment, but I want us to breathe into our belly first. As we contract those muscles, we want to be able to oxygenate them as well. So this next pose is finding your Achilles heel, finding your heel. Just going to come into an easy bridge, pressing down with your triceps, active fingers, and just lifting up your hips and putting some breath into the belly, rolling your shoulder blades underneath you. We want to breathe into our belly because we've just spent a lot of time working it, so you want to make sure that you're putting breath into it, to those muscles. Pressing down with the big toes, pressing down with the triceps, drawing up. Exhale, come all the way down. Roll over onto your left side, and we're going to take this like wide V or a funny U. And you could come onto your forearms like I am, or you can come all the way down and support your head onto your elbow. So this is like your triceps, so it's up to you. I am a forearm person, and I like to make sure that I'm not sinking into so my shoulder is not towards my ear. I'm actually really conscientious of allowing space on this lower side. So this lower left side of my body is there's space in between there. Okay, flexing both feet, they're stacked upon one another, inhaling up and keeping them, we're inhaling up and then exhaling down. So we're going to keep the line and the square hips. So we're keeping the line straight. We're not opening up our hip. This is not the pose. So keeping the squareness of our hips as we push out through the soles of our foot and really reaching like we're drawing a line in the air or on the wall across the room. Okay, now this next pose is where we're going to inhale up and then turn the foot, toes up, and the heel comes forward in front of the leg. And then inhale up, and then the toes go down behind the leg. There you go. And we're just kind of creating this rainbow arch. Inhale up, exhale down. Move, body, breath, coordination. Good. And we're going to kind of just feel that in the side. It helps our side, torso, as well as our hips and the side of our legs. Good. One more. And then I'm going to move us into this pose. So kind of sit up here on your side, and then your legs are going to be in this windmill, pinwheel. That's what it is, pinwheel. Those little devices used to blow when you were a kid. So your legs and feet, soles of your left foot into the top of your right quad. Now, you're going to take your hands to either side of that left quad and ever so slightly, flexing this back leg, you're going to lift up. This is a very subtle move, and it can get right into that spot on the left side. Yeah, right there. And it can maybe even cramp a little bit, so you may need to take a break, breathe into it, pound it out, and then start again. I like to flex that foot. And then let's bring it up, forward and back. So you bring it forward and back and then down. Up, forward and back and then down. It gets into that area we rarely get to work in our yoga poses. Up, forward and back, down. Now here's the last one. You lift it up and then you twist it up, twist it, heel up. I know. Knee up, heel up. My upper body, if you look at me, I'm trying to cheat. I'm trying to like go here so it looks like I'm doing, but I have to really focus on staying over that front leg. Yeah, knee up and then heel up and then down. Whew, let's switch sides. Best way to not do the pose is just to not do the pose. Okay, you didn't hear that. All right. Coming into your forearm down. Good. Taking that V, funny U, flexing the feet, and just lifting up. Pushing through the bottom of that left foot. Creating that line on the wall. I like to coordinate my breath with movement, so I inhale up, exhale down. Now this time we're going to inhale up, and the heel comes in front, down. Inhale up, toe and back, down. Creating this rainbow arch with breath. Inhale up, exhale down. Drawing in with the belly, creating space in between the ground and the side body. Moving with intention, purposeful movement. All right, coming back up again, down, and then let's sit up and coming into that pinwheel. We're going to do this fun one again. I don't even know what it's called, but we can call it anything you want. Torture pose. Hands at either side of that front quad, and without coming out of the pose, without leaning back, I want you to just lift up ever so slightly with that back leg. And really, any kind of bigger movement pushes you back. So you really need to just move so slightly. And then let's come forward and back, forward and back and down, up, forward, back, down, up, forward, back, down. And then the crown of the pose, the jewel, knee up, heel up, knee up, heel up, kneel up, heel up, and then down. Okay, let's graduate. We're going to come to our back and take a figure four, a supine figure four. Wow, time goes by fast. Okay. So let's take our right heel to our left knee. Thread in the middle of this four. Grab on to the belly of the left thigh, hamstrings, flexing both feet, pushing the right elbow away, the inner thigh away. With our elbow, and then drawing that right knee. Now, if this is too much, then this is a perfectly fine pose, just figure four. And you can encourage that right inner thigh away with your hand. Flexing your feet. I like to rock side to side, kind of massaging my back. Good. And then let's switch sides. Left ankle, to right knee. And each side may be a little bit different. Like, we are not symmetrical beings. So this side might be a little tighter or the other way around. Having your left forearm or elbow push that inner thigh away. Flexing both feet. I like to rock side to side. Great. Before we end and come into our Shavasana, I'd like you to take a half happy baby. So grabbing the outer edges of the right foot and extending that left leg long, hovering above the earth, bringing that right knee into the right armpit, opening up the front part of your body. Switching out. Legs, extending long, drawing down. Full happy baby. So in full happy baby, you do not want your tailbone to come up towards the sky. You want your tailbone to come down and elongate that spine, drawing the knees into the armpits, shoulder blades onto the back. Again, feel free to rock side to side. And then coming into spinal twist. For me, I like to inhale my hips up, pivot them to the left side of the mat, and have my knees come up towards my chest as they rock over to the right side of my body. Both shoulder blades on the mat, and I overlook my left shoulder. Sometimes I remind myself to breathe into my side belly, so I take my hands and I place them on my belly and I breathe 5 breaths into my side belly. After my 5th breath, I bring my knees up towards the ceiling, pick up my hips, pivot them to the right side of my mat, draw my knees up towards my chest, draw them over to the right or left side of the body, and then overlook my right shoulder. After my 5th breath, I stretch long like Saturday morning stretch, reaching, wiggling fingers and toes, and then coming into my final resting Shavasana. So surrendering to the earth, allowing the earth to support the body, allowing myself to feel gravity, completely surrendering into our beloved earth. Begin to awaken your body by wiggling fingers and toes. Rolling over to your side body. Gently pushing down into the ground and coming into a comfortable cross-legged seated position. Sitting tall. Inhaling your arms up overhead. Exhale, drawing your hands down into your heart. Inhaling up. drawing down. One last time, inhale up, exhale down. Thank you for coming and joining me this morning in this practice. I so appreciate your attendance, your presence. Namaste.